Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by my lovely wife, Miss Southern Shell. It's our anniversary. Happy anniversary, baby.
Happy anniversary to you.
It's actually Sunday, but we're celebrating on Friday, right?
Yeah, I even brought you sent me flowers. I brought them.
I did. We've got
right there.
We've got a friend who's a florist and does awesome work. Her name's Miss Ina Fowler.
So it's also Halloween.
It is time for trick or treats. Are you participating in trick or treating?
I got some cat ears. Is that what you're talking about?
I guess you're passing out. We're not usually home to pass out candies.
Yeah,
we usually put a bowl out there, and if you want to come get a piece of candy, bring your kid up there and let them take it if they dare. I may have something planned. So we're going to some friends. So
yeah, we got a double Halloween weekend booked. We're doing a trunk or treat tonight and a hayride tomorrow night.
That's right. And we got football practice tonight and a football game, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and we're opening a retail shop in about 5 days.
Y'all come and get some barbecue rubs and sauces and check out the grills and buy some cast iron.
So
what are we talking about today, Shell? I didn't do a video this week. We've been 90-0, so we're putting video on hold just for a week or so. I got some coming back for Thanksgiving, but
we're plotting and planning our holiday recipes. We're going to come hard.
Chili dog video did great.
That was a great recipe.
Yeah, it was simple. It's like, who doesn't love chili dogs?
But I mean, every element of that recipe was spot on.
Yeah.
It was very, very good.
There was a little bit of the chili sauce left in the fridge this week, and I finished it off. Just popped it in the microwave and ate the chili sauce. It was good.
Yeah.
It's good hearty chili.
Yeah.
They reminded me, like, it got thick in the refrigerator, so it was almost...
Did you heat it up or did you eat it cold?
I popped it in the microwave like 30 seconds, just knocked the chill off and ate it. And just with the fork. I was like, man, this is like eating really good, better than Manwich or better than Sloppy Joe, because it had a chili flavor instead of that sweet Sloppy Joe, like Manwich style stuff.
I bet it would make a good
So I was good on a bun.
Yeah.
So it got me to thinking, I was like, man, I need to do a chili burger. When I worked at Sonic back in the day, they used to have different kinds. I mean, I guess I don't know what Sonic has now. I think they used to have number ones or number twos.
Yeah.
And they had a hickory cheeseburger and they had a chili cheeseburger.
You're showing your age now.
Yeah. Yeah. This was all old Sonic stuff. I think they introduced the Supersonic burger back then.
How'd they
had a bacon cheeseburger and jalapeno bacon cheeseburger.
How'd they do the chili cheeseburger?
So it was chili, which we did not make chili at Sonic. It came in Cisco or whoever. Yeah. I think it was Cisco back then. I don't know who they get their stuff from now, but it just came in like this frozen tub, and you had to put it in the you took it out of the freezer and let it thaw for so many days in the refrigerator. Then you put it in the steam table, and it was like, if you think about this giant tub, like water, built-in counter crock pot thing, and put water in it, and you put the pans in it. It's like a steam table.
Yeah.
Put the chili in that, and it heated it up by the time lunch. We weren't open for breakfast back then. It was just lunch and dinner rush, you know.
So it was burger.
It was burger patty.
Chili.
Went through the char broiler. Back then, Sonic actually kind of grilled their burgers because they had a char broiler, and it was like this machine that you'd put the frozen burger in, and it would run through a conveyor belt. It had a flame on top and a flame on bottom like a broiler.
Yeah.
And it would go in, they'd run through that, and it'd flip them out the bottom, and then you pick that up and slap it on the make station wherever we buttered the buns and built the burger, and we put that on top. And then if you ordered the chili cheeseburger, you would get a big old scoop of chili and put over it and put onions on it and cheese over the top and put it in the little sleeve and send it out with the little girl running it on roller skates.
Have you ever?
Great operation. Except for Tuesdays, which was half price burger night, and it sucked. We would have tickets lined up all over the daggum kitchen, and you had to have one person's job was just to feed burgers down the char broiler. I mean, it was like burger.
But they didn't do special burgers. It was pretty much just.
Oh, it was like number ones and number twos. And what the difference was, you were. I'm guessing you were a number one person. That was a mayo person. Yeah. Number two was the mustard. But they don't do that anymore, I don't think. I think it's like you tell them you want mayo or mustard. It confuses people, you know.
Yeah.
Simple for dumb folk now.
I've noticed that, like, when I want it with mayo, they're like, Okay.
I still tell them I want a number one. That really blows their mind because none of these kids know what a number one is anymore.
So have you ever eaten a chili cheeseburger?
I never ate one. But that was what I was thinking. With my chili sauce and a good burger, it'd probably make a pretty good burger. Yeah. You know, a chili cheeseburger. I need to try it.
Especially if you did one of your CAB burgers.
Mm-hmm, the thick.
With that good chili.
Press. Yeah.
And some like white American cheese or Jack.
You could put, I was thinking like grade some Jack to where it kind of, so we also did chili pies, and that was like Fritos, chili, cheese over the top, put it in the steamer and melt it. So if you did shredded Jack or cheddar, put it over the top of the burger. Like I might even try to spoon the chili on the burger patty before you take it off the grill and put the cheese on it, let the grill melt.
Yeah.
Then get it off and put it on your bun. And the only thing it might need is some finely diced onion and some jalapenos. Yeah. Would be good on it.
Heck yeah. I like the idea of finely dicing the jalapenos too.
Yeah.
A nice bite.
Yeah, that would.
Equal
be like a little onion jalapeno relish that you put on there.
Yeah. Did you watch Mark Williams' video on his sausage and cheese dip?
I hadn't got to watch. He told me he did it. I hadn't.
It was really good.
He let me try that. He brought it out to, what was that, Sunday, I guess I saw it.
Yeah. He just cooked it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like that dip.
When we started talking about it Saturday, before he ever, he was wanting to do some kind of cheese dip, and I was like, man, I've never seen anybody do a sausage and cheese kind of plate dip. And so that worked out. It tasted really good.
Yeah. I want to recreate it.
Yeah, I need to try that for sure.
So
he chopped up the smoked sausage, I guess. Like he took smoked sausage, and then chopped it up, diced it up, and then mixed that back in, or topped his hot cream cheese, cheddar, whatever he put in it. I'm guessing, and they have it had a little sweet element too, like some kind of glaze or something.
He used pepper jelly in your vinegar sauce.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I need to watch. I'm going to watch that video when we get there.
Yeah, and then he used diced sweet fire pickles and diced jalapenos.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Ate it with little toast points.
So we put it out there that we were going to do a Q&A and ask people to submit some questions on your Facebook page.
That's right.
So I've got.
Do you know? So you put
11 pages
of questions. Are we getting through all of them today? Or are we going to tackle these like over the course of the next end of the year?
Yeah. This will be a good.
I've always thought the Q&A is a good segment to have every week.
Oh, yeah.
Podcast, because that's a lot of what I do is answer questions about stuff. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to learn.
There is.
Yeah. I mean, you say you're still learning.
I still learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Well, one, I just learned I need some locks on this podcast door. It's nothing to do with cooking, but I need a lock on these doors so somebody can't just bust up in here. We're trying to get our record on. Oh.
Question number 1.
Let's hear them.
Okay. So somebody wanted you to Trent Baskin. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's related to Carol, but
it would be really cool if he was. You into tigers?
He wants you to talk about soaking wood.
Soaking wood, I'm not a fan of it. The only time that I soak wood now is if I'm using some wood chips and I'm going to throw them on something to give it a little just blast of flavor and to keep them from burning up. But when I first started barbecuing, everybody had a 5-gallon bucket, and we put our wood in there and we got it waterlogged. And
I remember you used to always take a big 5-gallon bucket of wood.
And we were always putting this wet wood on our coals, and it would steam and smoke and look like you were really doing something, man. You'd have it smoked out. But all you're doing is slowing down the process. You're not gaining anything from adding moisture back to the wood. You want to actually smoke with the wood with the the moisture's been dried out of it for the most part. Now, for flavor, you can get by with a little bit of green wood, but a little goes a long way. The more moisture that's in the wood, the less smoke flavor you're going to have, the more impurities you're going to have in it, and the bitter smoke you're going to taste. So I like to have my wood, if it's just for flavor wood, in the 20-25% moisture content. If it's for like I'm using wood for BTUs in my stick burner where I really want heat and I'm not so much worried about smoke flavor. I want 15%, 15 to 18% moisture
Even
content,
less,
even less. So really, you don't want to soak
that
it.
percentage?
Well, they sell moisture meters, and it's just like a little handheld device, and you stick it up to the wood, and it can sense how much moisture is in that wood. You actually gave me one for Christmas last year.
I did.
And if you're using stick burners, it really comes in handy because you want to know that you're getting that dried wood. Now, a lot of the wood that you buy, like stores, if you go to big box stores or Walmart, Home Depot, somewhere like that, you're buying different brands of wood. Most of it's been kiln dried, so it's been super low moisture content. It's great for BTUs. It gives you some flavor, but it's super dry, so it's going to burn up faster.
Yeah.
So if you have a source for wood, it's great. If you can get it, you want it to season out for 6 to 9 months or something like that. That's perfect to me. If I get some wild cherry from around here, if I get some hickory or pecan from from our property, stack it up. I want it to set about 9 months so the moisture gets out of it. Then it's ready to go for good flavor.
So greenwood has a lot of
greenwood has a lot of moisture,
and
it's going to give you more bitter smoke. So you use it sparingly. You can use it, but don't soak your wood. Don't do that.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary,
and it's ineffective.
You're actually messing it up doing that.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a really good question. I thought when you're catering or doing like a dinner or feeding people,
sure.
What's your approach to serving everything from brisket to mac and cheese to keep the highest level of quality, possible? They just want some tips on how to serve the highest quality food without sacrificing serve good hot food without sacrificing.
Yeah, no, I see where they're going with it.
Yeah.
So anytime that you pre-cook something, you have to reheat it. It's not going to be as good, especially barbecue.
Yes.
So the closer that you can put something on and time it to being done at your event and have a hold time with it, the better off you are, better quality it's going to be. Now, also keeping the meat in as whole piece as possible is going to be fresher. So ultimately, if I'm catering something and I want it to be the absolute best quality brisket, pulled pork, ribs, whatever, I'm timing it to where when it comes off the smoker, I've got a little bit of a rest, and I'm taking it to the event, covered in a pan, in a Cambro so it stays warm, and then I'm breaking it. Or a cooler. Yeah, or a cooler, if you don't have a dry cooler. But then I'm breaking it down on site. Now, if you set up, a lot of people don't do that. They want to set up like a buffet line and let people serve themselves. So you've got to have all your pulled pork pulled, you've got to slice your brisket, and you've got to have your ribs cut. Well, you got to give yourself time in an event to do that, because if you do that and travel with it, it's always drying out. The absolute best way is to have carving stations at the event. So you can have one person, their job is to ask that they're coming through the line getting brisket. They're actually slicing brisket and putting it on somebody's plate for them. That's
probably unlikely in most scenarios.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to several events where they do that.
Yeah.
I like it.
But your average person is not going to have a carver.
Well, they can do it themselves.
Yeah.
Or that was what I was just getting to. I was like, you're going to have an expense because you're going to have to hire somebody that knows how to do that. But also carving on site or proportioning on site per person allows you to save food costs too.
It does.
Because you're not worried about somebody grabbing too much. You're portion controlling right there. And then, so a lot of people do that for a reason. Like when I worked in the corporate world and we had people come in and cater, like from these bigger barbecue restaurants, they always sent somebody. So you knew you were only getting a slice of brisket.
You're getting
or
the portion.
Yeah, a portion of pulled pork. And they might shred it right there, but they're only giving you appropriate amount because that's all they're paying for. It's how they're saving food costs. So.
The one thing I will say to kind of add to that is the two things that are the most important when you're doing something like that is to set a timeline. You got to have the food ready at 6 o'clock. You've got to work back from that. And the second thing is prep. Yeah. You can start prepping on 3-4 days before, in some cases. Anytime you're doing a casserole, make it the day before. Make your macaroni and cheese casserole the day before. Put it in the refrigerator.
That stuff does refrigerate well and makes it easier.
And then you can pop it in the oven,
And go. But one thing I will say about that though, and you've run into this, when you're cooking mac and cheese or some kind of casserole or something for a large group, and you've had it pre-made, and you're bringing it out of the refrigerator to the oven, your time is going to change.
Double.
Other than, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I got this mac and cheese recipe. I can throw this together, put it in a pan, throw it in the oven. It's ready in 35, 40 minutes in the oven."
Yeah.
Well, it's not cold. You've had that in the refrigerator for over 24 hours. You got to
account for that.
So that's happened to us before. Not like an event.
That's how we know.
Yeah, that's how we learn. It's like, dang, it won't get warm.
Yeah. Give yourself double the time. If it
always put extra time in. That's the big thing. Being rushed on a catering job or whatever kind of event you're cooking is the worst thing that can happen. So whatever time you think it's going to take, add to it. Because I'd rather be sitting, finding something to clean or doing something else than I had just, rushing the whole time, worried about getting something out.
Yeah, you got to have a good plan.
Yeah.
The good thing about serving barbecue is a lot of times, especially the big cuts, pulled pork, brisket, stuff like that, the hold makes it even better. So you have that working to your advantage.
Yeah, as long as you keep it in a whole form too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times where I've served pulled pork already pulled up and we've had to reheat it. It's okay. I mean, it's good, but is it the best? No, it's always the best off the grill, rested a little bit, whole form, pulled right before, and then serve it.
I will say, if you're going to serve pulled pork and you've got to pull it and then take it somewhere and serve it, pull it hot, put it in a Ziploc bag or some type of bag and store it, in a cooler or Cambro. Storing it in the bag helps keep the moisture in.
Yeah, it traps
versus just a pan with full.
That's right. If pan with full is your only option, I highly suggest clear cling wrap over the pan and then full over the top. It'll at least help some. That's the way we done it in restaurants. We always had to cling wrap everything, label it, masking tape, and you had to put the time and date on it, or when to throw it out. Because when you're holding stuff, I mean. First off, if you haven't went and took like a food safety class and got certified, you need to do that if you're going to be serving people.
Yeah. But your average.
I'm mainly talking like guerrilla style catering here. It's like underground. Completely. I didn't tell you to do it, but this is how I've done it.
Yeah. I'm thinking this is mostly people serving.
You're talking
dinner
about people
parties.
that don't have a business that are just doing something. Yeah.
Yeah. You're
always
catering a sweet 16 or something for your buddy.
This isn't like somebody paid you to cook for 200.
Yeah. Well,
it could be. I've been there and done that.
Learned I do not want to do it anymore. I had a lot of comments, people wanting the hot sauce in larger, in like gallons or half gallons.
Who buys that much hot sauce?
It's good stuff, man.
It's good stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like
all I've got is the little bottles, but I like the little bottles. I make toothpick holders out of them. Maybe people don't use toothpicks anymore.
So one thing that I thought this is a good question. Explain the hold. What is the hold? We always say, let it hold. You can hold it. What is the hold? What does it do? And how long do you hold it for each meat?
So holding, when I say hold, it really means resting or letting the meat sit and calm down after it comes off the pit. And you see a lot of people talk about it with steaks. Or that's probably the biggest place you see somebody talk about, you got to let that steak rest before you cut it. Yeah. Well, it really applies to bigger meats as well. Any meat is better once you stop it. Because what's happening as we're cooking food or grilling meat, smoking, whatever you're doing, you're taking the moisture out of it, and it's starting from the center and pushing this moisture out. So all the moisture leaves the meat. In fact, it's cooking it away. It's getting the meat done. And once you take it off the grill at your desired doneness, if you cut it right then, you think you pushed all that moisture. It's trying to escape that cut of meat, and it's going out. It's going to leave it. So if you start breaking it down, you're going to lose all that moisture that's in it. But if you rest or hold, it lets that meat stop. It's it's being hammered with all this heat, trying to cook that moisture out of it. When we stop it, it gives it time to start coming back down to a normal temp. You don't want it to go all the way cool, but it's soaking. The moisture that's pushed to the outside is reabsorbing back to the inside. The meat's kind of calming down. It's not freaked out anymore because you're trying to
That's a good way for me to explain it. Yeah.
And so that's what the rest or the hold does. And oftentimes it makes it better. Now, most people rest everything? I would say no, probably, because most people, they've cooked something, they want to eat it.
Yeah.
You're serving it to somebody, you want to eat it yourself, you're cooking dinner. You're not putting, you're not putting rest times in things. But I learned from the competition side of things that our product was better after we rested it. And a lot of this happened because we were, cooking it and we were building the blind box, turning it in. The judges were judging it. Scores were okay sometimes. But then when we got the meat home, because we always had leftovers, we would take it home and we'd taste it after it's been in the hot, the cooler, like a holding box until a couple hours. And we taste it out of the bag. Man, how come we didn't score good today? And we taste it and be, oh man, this is so good. And, it's juicy. It's got all this flavor. And it's because that meat that held had that time to rest and calm down. And so we started working that into our cooks and contests, and it made it even better. Ribs, different meats, if you think about it by the thickness or the size of them is really what determines the hold time for me. A big old brisket or a big old pork shoulder or butt can hold a lot longer than a slab of ribs or a little piece of chicken. So think of it like that, like a steak, something like a steak. It's kind of, half inch to an inch thick, something like that.
I hate letting a steak rest.
It can rest 5 to 7 minutes. That's a good rest time for a steak. Piece of chicken, you could rest chicken 10, 15 minutes, be okay. If you go over 30, it's going to start cooling off too much. Smaller it is, faster it's going to cool off. Ribs will hold for about an hour usually, but anything over a rib, it kind of loses its hold power. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Thinner, smaller the meat, less time I have to hold it. Depends on how hungry I am, if I'm even going to hold
That's
it.
why I hate resting steaks.
But brisket and butts, they hold great.
Yeah.
They really do. And I suggest trying that. Next time you cook barbecue, take a pork butt off the grill, pull the bone out, pull it out right there, get one, stick it in a cooler, and then try the one you just pulled up, and then wait a couple hours and try that one and see if it's not juicier and the flavor's more distributed and it just tastes better.
Yeah. A lot of people ask, well, how do you reheat it after the hold? Well, you don't have to. It stays hot if you put it in the right cooler.
Yeah, we're talking about we're not holding it to where it drops below 140 ever.
Internal.
So meat at 140 is pretty deadgum hot. And so, we're really what you could expect, say from just a brisket or a butt, for example, you've taken them up to 200 degrees. And when you take them off the grill, you vent the steam off if you've got it wrapped or not. You put it in a pan. You stick it in a holding box, it's going to drop down fast to about 190, 185. And then it's going to take some hours for it to go to 185 to 140. It's going to hang out in the 160s for what seems like forever. I've watched them. I've kind of did a little experiment with them. And it'll be 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours before it really gets down to the threshold where it needs to be consumed or frozen, refrigerated.
And the less space you have in your cooler, the better, or your holding box, the better you are.
That's right. That's why you'll see people recommend, like if you got a cooler, you're fixing to stick a butter brisket in, put some old moving blankets or some insulation. They just want you to take up some of the space in there, so it's not cooling the air so much. So I've found, and you'll see me use them all the time. They're called little party stacker. I think Igloo makes them or somebody.
I think so, yeah.
You find them at Walmart or on Amazon.
Amazon's got them.
But it's like a little cooler that's meant for 24 Cokes or cans of soft drink or whatever beer.
Or beer.
Yeah. And they're perfect for throwing ribs in, for, throwing a butt in or brisket or something like that. And they're small enough and they do just good enough a job to where it rests something without letting it cool too fast. It's like, not sitting down on the counter.
And one thing you've learned is you swear the reason the briskets are so good at like a Franklin's or a Little Miss Barbecue or something like that is because they're putting them in proofing ovens, right?
Yeah, they're controlled holding, and I guarantee you. I really do think
they're getting to hold them extra long.
Yep. And they do that not by. I don't think they did it by thinking it was going to be better quality. I think they did it because we got it. We only got this cooker to smoke on. We've got to put our briskets on, and they got to be done here because we got to get ribs and turkey or chicken on. And so they had to be off, and they were forced to hold. And the only way to hold them in a restaurant setting was have a proofing or a holding cabinet. And so that's how it went out. And after it sat there that long, I guarantee you, if you cut their brisket as soon as they come off the pit, it's not as good as what they're serving at lunch.
Yeah, I would put money on that.
I would put money on it.
Okay, this is a great question. What's the best advice for cooking a meat or something that you've never cooked before, something you're not comfortable with, something you haven't done, maybe something exotic even?
The best advice.
Or just something you've never cooked before.
Go watch some videos on it. No. So
that's a good
one. You need to know if I'm cooking, I'm cooking by internal temperature. So my control is the temp I'm cooking at, and my other control is the temp I'm going to internally. So the best advice is to have a good meat thermometer and to use that. So you're going to know, like, oh, is this going to finish? If I'm cooking a big roast and it's got to be, falling apart tender, it's got to be up to 200. Or if I'm cooking a loin of something and I know that I want to eat it on the medium, the meat, side or whatever. I've got these temperatures.
The loin of something.
The loin of some creature. Loin of some beast. Love beast loin. Beast loin is good.
So, and you need to know your times and.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to know the time, but you always know temperature. Time, time, that's one thing. It's like, everybody will say, what's the time and temp? I don't care about the time. The time is irregardless. Don't worry about the time.
You got to
temperature.
Time frame. You need to know if it's going to take
you 2 days or 6 hours. Yeah, but I mean, it depends. It depends. Yeah. It always depends on what you're cooking, what temp you're cooking at. There's a lot of relevance going to time. The internal temperature is always the same. You're going to climb at a constant rate and you're going towards a target goal. That's the one that ain't moving. It's not going to say, well, cook it to 180 this time, cook it to 200 the next time. You're never going to say that. It's always going to be a set end goal time. So if you'll learn to cook your stuff to that, it's so much easier. Okay.
This one is, would you increase the temp if you're maximizing the capacity of your smoker?
That's a tough one because
you could,
but you're going to create hot spots in there where certain stuff's going to cook hotter. From my experience, what I've seen, I'd like to increase. I just went on this rant about don't cook by time. I like to increase the time. I know it's going to take. If I've got my cooker maxed out,
you have to have a guideline for time.
I'm going to cook. It's going to take me longer. And that goes into your planning. Something's going to take. Ribs are going to be roughly a 6-hour rib cook.
That's what I'm saying.
Butt's roughly a 12-hour cook.
Yes.
Including.
And you always like to add a little cushion in there.
Yeah. And so if I know I'm cooking, and going back to that one, if I know I'm cooking a full load of butts on my old Hickory CTO, that 4 or 5 butts I can cook in 8 to 10 hours, but that full load's going to take me 12 to 14.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, it increases that. Now, am I going to dial my temp up? No, I'm not, because I don't think when I increase that temp, I'm putting different hot spots that will make stuff cook differently on there. So I do not do that.
Because if you are at capacity, you're almost shielding.
Yeah.
The meats that are inside. Do you rotate at that point?
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to move stuff. If you don't have a cooker that does it for you, you have to move stuff around. Things are going to get done at different times. They're going to get darker just because of the way the air is flowing through that cooker. I mean, it's never a great idea to cook at full max capacity, but sometimes you have to. You ain't got a choice.
We did last week.
Yeah, I've done it. I've had to do it a bunch. And it's not my ideal thing to do. I like to cook at half capacity where I've got good airflow always, stuff spaced out. I feel like the product is so much better. And you can get it done at full capacity. It's just, it's not you don't want to do it all the time.
This person said they want you to bring Mark back on.
He's here. He's in the building.
That was one of our best podcasts, I thought. Yeah. I thought it was one of our best ones. Injection tips for beginner KCBS.
Well, I guess.
Do you inject? Do you inject
KCBS? Yes.
Always. Everything?
Chicken, pork, and brisket.
Yep.
I don't inject ribs.
Some people I've heard.
But I inject. I like to use the little handheld siphon injector. There's all kinds of injectors out there, but I just one that works. I mean, I've run into some problems with some of them malfunction and stuff, but typically that's because they're getting clogged. What I found, if you'll strain your injections, you won't clog up an injector. For chicken, I like to use just a small handheld one that I can control how much I'm putting in it because I'm not putting much. I'm a fan of the Butcher's injections. David over at Butcher BBQ's got some really good ones. I love his chicken the Bird Booster honey. I think that's great in chicken thighs. It gives it a good flavor. It's got a good chicken base to it.
Yep.
All of his have a good whatever you're cooking base to it. It's what it tastes like. So his pork has some pork base in it. His beef has some beef in it, and that's why I like them. I mean, as far as the tips on how to do it, I make some daggum package directions on those for a contest. I mean, it works. It flat works, and you can do all kinds of stuff. You can make your own recipes and everything. Yeah. But I found that those package directions work.
They've got
I shake them up,
in them.
I strain them, and I shoot them, and it never gives me a problem. Doesn't clog my injectors. I don't have any issues with it. I think of them, just like you see a lot of people say, I think of the meat as kind of a checkerboard pattern, and I'm trying to hit the center of every little square on that meat, so that gives you about a 1-inch spacing. I try to just do one shot down, and if I move my needle around, I don't come out. I just kind of pull it out and stay in the meat and go back and channel it around. Everything I shoot straight down. I don't come at the side angle or try to hit the grain or all that. I found that's where I get staining when I do that. So I like to just shoot from 12 o'clock going in at 12. Yeah. And then, if I have to move around, I can move around a little in a butt, but most of the time it's just straight shots. And it's about, I would say I try to put a cup, 8 to 12 ounces in a butt. And then a brisket usually gets about 16 ounces of injection.
A big brisket.
Yeah,
You're cooking, what, 16, 18?
Yeah, but they're trimmed down. So they'd probably trim down to 12 13,
14, yeah.
Something like that.
I'll add to that.
And then clean your injector. Keep it really clean. The way I clean
immediately.
I run hot water, and hot as I can get it, I might put a squirt of soap in there. I run a whole thing through it. Then I'll come back with some clear water, run that through it. And then I may put just a splash of bleach, not even a quarter of a cap.
I don't like the bleach. I like the vinegar.
Yeah. Well, vinegar works too. Yeah, but I'll run that through it. And as soon as all that cycles through, I put straighten the hose out to where it can dry, and it never molds on me. It's always clean.
Yeah.
You can use peroxide. You can put a little peroxide in there and channel it all through.
If you let that injector sit,
it's going to mold
problems.
Yeah.
Even if you let it sit till you get home the next day.
Yeah, never let it sit dirty. Always clean and then use it, because I have had them where if you don't use them for 2 or 3 months, man, they're going to lock up. Yeah, they just do. I don't know why.
I think it's the lubrication inside there.
So.
I'll add to that. Don't overthink the injection.
Don't overthink the injection. Yeah,
keep it simple.
I'm cooking at home. I don't inject.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the actual.
Yeah.
When you get into competition,
you need that bump.
You need to keep it simple. Yeah. Don't overdo it. Don't over layer your flavors and stuff.
Yeah.
What's a good mid-level stick burner?
Mid-level. What do you consider mid-level?
I don't know.
I don't.
There are no mid-level stick burners, are there?
I mean, yeah, there's some cheaper ones, but I mean,
are they worth it?
I don't know if I'd spend my money on them.
Yeah.
I mean, Meadow Creek's got some entry-level ones, I would guess, but you're still going to spend $1,000, for anything. Model, yeah.
What's the cheapest stick burner that you would put your money on? You don't have to give me a name.
I can't even think of. I mean,
like what's your price? You're talking $1,200.
Yeah, I would say
minimum.
Yeah, I'd try to be $1,000 to $1,200. Probably you might could get one.
How much did Jolene cost?
She's like right at 10. Said done. Gosh. But yeah, there's outlaws.
Was she
the outlaws that I've been cooking on are I mean, they're not mid-level, but they're
what,
the patio model's about
5?
Yeah, our model's about 4.
Yeah.
But it's a hell of a cooker. It's not entry level or anything.
Yeah.
It's a serious. If you really want a stick burner, it's going to work. You're going to be in that price range.
Yeah, something that'll last you for a long time.
Yeah, it's going to last. I mean, you can go get one in Academy. I don't remember what brand they are. I've looked at some of them up there. They've got some decent steel ones. Oklahoma Joe used to make some that were decent start.
Yoder has some.
Yoder has some.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just a quality American built one's what I'd be looking for. I mean.
Greg Grimpy writes in and asks, when are you going to have Greg Grimpy on as a guest? He
Greg's
brings
welcome.
The fire.
Greg is more than welcome when he gets ready to travel to come on down here.
I'm circling that one. We got to get Greg on.
Got to get Greg down here. I got to give him a plane ticket.
You go on his show monthly.
Monthly, yeah.
And I was supposed to go on one
last time, but we had ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like putting on makeup that day.
We got Tuesday night. I got to go on there this Tuesday. I guess it's election night.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah. I guess we're still doing it. I hadn't heard any different.
Yeah.
It's the first Tuesday of the month.
Are you going to talk politics?
I don't talk politics.
Just depresses.
Just depresses me, yeah. I try not to think about it. Who's going to tax us the least? That's usually the way I lean. I don't like being taxed or told what to do.
Jason Witten says, when's your restaurant going to open?
Is he the tight end for the former Cowboys?
Yes. Jason Witten wants to know.
I never planned to open a restaurant. But but
why not?
But I am
possibly
going to have some barbecue available to order here.
Mail order.
Yeah, mail order style. I got a thing working. I don't know how it's going to go. You've seen this Gold Belly stuff? It's kind of something similar.
Yeah. Why would you never open a restaurant?
Because it's too much like work. I like to be able to have fun, hang out, and talk on this microphone, and cook stuff for videos, and go hunting and fishing. I don't even know how this retail thing is going to work. I don't know how much you're going to depend on me to be here. If I'm tied, I feel like you're tied to a restaurant. When you start a restaurant, you've got to be serious. I mean, the whole act of,
I feel like we're super serious.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm serious, but I mean, I'm talking about you.
Oh no, you did it. You're
to have a successful restaurant. You're probably putting in minimum of 80 hours a week, probably 120. You're juggling all the staff, everything that goes into it. Food costs are low. You got to depend on people to come to you. I've been, when I first started working, it was in fast food restaurants and pizza joint and a Cracker Barrel. I've seen what the restaurant life is like.
Yes.
And when you're young, it's fun. I mean, that was fun to me. I mean, I learned a lot, but it's not something I want to do forever. It's not like I say, I want to own one of these one day and put up with all these headaches. I know what those headaches were because I caused a lot of those headaches. we used to take the Pizza Hut and shut down after hours and have WWF Royal Rumbles in there. I mean, can you imagine going into a restaurant and all your employees inviting their friends over there, having these staged fights?
After hours.
That's the kind of stuff that goes on in restaurants. Yeah, we would shut down the Sonic parking lot after hours, block it off, and we'd have live boxing out back. I mean, it was just. I don't know if you can get away with all that nowadays.
No, I don't think you can.
Probably worse though.
Caleb wants to know: have you given Miss Jolene the wood lately?
No, I have not. She's been neglected. She's probably hating me. She's sitting in the garage. I changed the light bulbs in there, so it's not all dark. But the bad thing, and I need to take a picture.
Last time I walked out there,
Shell has a cat. His name is Mr. Smokey, and he thinks Jolene is like his pride rock, and it makes me so mad. I go in there and I see this big giant tomcat laid up on my pit, just laid out like he's king of his domain.
You walk in there, he's like, "What's up?"
Yeah, what are you looking at? That's what I feel like. Like, look at this. Oh my!
Smokey is a great cat.
Oh, he's a great cat. He's a murder one. He would kill anything and leave it for you to look at.
Those are gifts.
Yeah, he brings them to us every morning. There's moles and all kinds of stuff. Lizards. I saw him torturing one the other day. He was
really?
Yeah, he just had it caught between it. It was like a little lizard, and he had it caught. And I walked out there, and he just looked at me crazy. And I was like, "What are you doing?" Because he looked like, you look at something, he's up to something.
Yeah. But
it had his paws together, and I couldn't see anything. And about that time, he moved one, and a little tail come out and started wiggling and got away. And man, he was shot after it. I was like, God, the cat's having the time of his life out here. He's probably puking up fur balls on my grill.
Full or butcher paper for brisket? I've done both and think I get a better result with paper.
It depends. If it's bark you're talking about, and a better bark, a Texas style brisket, which I love, paper's the way to go. If I'm cooking it, for absolute moisture and flavor, not worried about the bark, full's the way to go. It holds it in better. You're going to make more au jus, more drippings with the foil because the paper don't hold any drippings back. And I can always get a little bit of that look back on the back end by glazing it. And for contests, we do. We can reseason and reglaze, put it back on the pit at the end, get all that back. But that's not the brisket that I want to eat at home all the time.
Yeah.
I like that Texas bark
brisket. I like the Texas salt, pepper, paper.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's my personal choice. When do you choose briquettes over lumps and vice versa?
Long, low, and slow cooks, I usually burn briquettes. And because lump coal gives you a hotter fire and it burns up faster. So if I'm grilling or cooking in a pit to where I can actually put the pit out and reuse it, if I know it's going to be a short cook, I'll use lump. So I use lump if I'm grilling in my egg. Yeah. If I'm cooking in my egg, I'll use lump a lot because I can shut that egg down and that coal goes out and I can restart it. I can shake the ash off and restart it. You can't do that with briquette.
Why not?
Once you get briquette lit and hot, it just wants to go to dust after you put it out. I mean, I've never had really good success with shaking the ash off some briquettes and relighting them. Lump does a lot. I've gotten 3 or 4 cooks out of lumps on it, like a good load of lump in my egg. When I cook on my drum cookers, I usually I'll burn lumps sometimes, but I'll burn briquettes sometimes too. I just kind of depends on how I'm feeling on that. But they do the same thing. I can shut a drum down the same way I can shut the egg down. Cut the oxygen off. It puts the fire out, and so I can reuse that coal, that lump coal.
That kick ash basket works really well for that.
It does. And the egg, I can take that basket and shake it, and then put a few tumbleweeds in it, and right back to it. But if the best way to think about it is if you're grilling something hot and fast and quick, use lump. If you're going, for longer cooks, use coal. But they're interchangeable anytime too. So.
Yeah, you can get the same results regardless. Yeah. I have Michael Cleary asked. I have a WSM, and it has an open portion, so it's hard to keep the temps. Any suggestions? Plug that hole.
Plug that hole. Get creative with aluminum foil. You got to be about a half. Yeah, I've had a piece of magnet I put over mine before. You got to fabricate some stuff. Aluminum foil works great. Yeah, it's like the barbecue man's JB Weld. For real.
Okay, this is a really good question. I want you to answer this one. John Daniels asked, do you think you get the same smoke flavor from your old hickory as you do from Jolene? The funny thing is, you don't get the
smoke flavors you think from a stick burner. Yeah, it's more about clean smoke. So I would say they're very, very comparable, smoke flavor wise. I can get just as much smoke flavor or more smoke flavor probably on my old hickory, but I've never when I want to get extra smoke flavor from my stick burner, I will, instead of putting the wood directly on the fire, I'll have my fire going to give me my BTUs. But then I'll put a piece of wood kind of over to the side by itself to where it's just on a little bit of the coal where it's never enough to really get it sparked up. It's just enough to get it smoking and giving me some smoke. So stick burners burn a lot cleaner than you think when they're operating right and you got your fire running right. So it's not, it does have good smoke flavor, but what the old hickory does, they're tit for tat when it comes to product.
I would say so.
But you have to be careful on the old hickory because it has the convection fan in it. That's what drives the heat around. That's why the design of it works. Yeah. So you can dry out food more in the old hickory versus the stick burner, because the stick burner, it seems like the texture of product, I think that's what's getting me a lot of times. Stick burner product texture is awesome. It's not because it doesn't have that. It's almost like a dehydrating effect. And I've noticed that with my old hickory. You get around it on the old hickory because you can baste a little more often. Yeah. Or, wrap a little sooner or whatever.
Or cook on a lower shelf.
Or cook at a lower shelf. Yeah. But you just have to know that a pit like that is moving a lot of air. So it can dry out stuff faster. You need to baste a little more often or spritz.
But if you want the smoke flavor,
Drum is the way to go. Now, if you'd asked me that, which one gets more smoke flavor?
That'd have been easy.
Drum, hands down. You're not going to beat the smoke flavor on a drum.
Kevin asked, have you ever been asked a question about barbecue and been completely caught off guard?
Yeah, that one. No, yeah, and I tell people all the time, I may not know the answer, but I will go find somebody that does. I know a lot of people in barbecue, so I can't think of it, instance,
Usually the questions that catch you off guard aren't about barbecue.
Yeah, usually they aren't about barbecue. I definitely don't know everything there is to know, but I know people that probably know if I can't answer it.
Yeah. What's your best or favorite cooking story?
Oh, man, that's too hard.
I know. I can't think of
best or favorite.
There's so many.
Yeah, there's way too many. I've got volumes of cooking stories.
Anything pop to your mind? We're going to revisit that.
Yeah, one of the best ones, and I probably told this one on here before.
I'm sure.
Cousin Bob. The brisket. We were cooking over in Marion, Arkansas, and my cousin's from Arkansas. We call him Arkansas Bob. That's how he's known. I guess he lives in Mississippi now, so he's no longer Arkansas Bob. But he's
about 6'6", Looks like he
football coach, Marine.
Yeah,
giant guy, muscled up. He's we were cooking over there. This was before we were still amateur team, weren't pro. And this is
when it was all about the party.
Yeah. And so they had ribs and pork. We said, we got that handled. There was chicken and they had brisket. And Bob was like, I can cook a brisket. He said, he was born in Texas. He can cook a brisket. I was like, all right. So he marinated. He had to marinate. And this wasn't like a sanctioned deal at all. This was a backyard contest. Yeah. It's called Esperanza Bonanza, but it was a no sanction, just a local deal. And so he got some brisket marinade, and he marinated this brisket for like 4 days. And I don't know where he got the brisket. He worked on this brisket, worked on it. And we was like, man,
he had a plan.
He's got brisket. We ain't got to worry about that. He's got it. And so as the day goes on, or Friday goes on, we get the brisket on. He gets it seasoned. I don't even remember what he seasoned. I didn't pay any attention. He had it on a pit. We had a little cabinet smoker. And we had, we were just having our good old time and all this. And somewhere along the night, I guess it was time to wrap that brisket. And that's all he'd been talking about, the brisket. Him and his wife got sideways or something.
Bob started drinking.
Yeah. That's where probably a big part of the problem went. And but he ended up, so I guess he wrapped the brisket and
he was in the process of wrapping. I don't remember.
And somehow a fight broke out. And the brisket got thrown at him or something.
No, his wife threw it at him.
And all I know is we got there the next morning, and Bob is laid out on this wood floor of a barbecue utility trailer we borrowed from somebody, and the brisket is his pillow. It's under his head. And we're like,
he's curled up with it.
He's curled up with his
like
brisket. No, I don't know. He might have had an apron on, and it was like, looked like a bib on him or something. But he's laid on this utility trailer. Smoker's there. It's dead. And, we come in to do ribs, and I'm sure we were hurting too, but I was not there for any of that. And so we wake him up, and I think he leaves. Like, I got to go home. And so what are we going to do? So we put some fire back in the pit, and we put that brisket back on it, and we ended up cooking it. I don't know how long we cooked it. We didn't have thermometers back then. We didn't check. We took that brisket off, and Bob came back about turn-in time. I guess he went home, freshened up, took a nap or whatever, and sliced that brisket. And we turned in all our stuff, and that day I was like, we just knew there's no way. This brisket had been out, it'd been a pillow, it'd been thrown, it'd been cold, it'd been back on the pit. The whole worked on it. Because we ended up with like second place out of 50 teams. So how bad? The moral of that story is how bad were those other briskets that this brisket, and I wouldn't even try it. I was like, heck no. I don't know what happened to this thing, but we'll give it to a judge,
That happens more than you would think.
And so that's how Bob became the brisket cook. Second place brisket's all I know. And that trophy, I don't know if it's Waylon. I guarantee you Waylon still got it. It was like a super nice trophy too. It was like one of the bigger. We toted that around with us for a long time. Yeah. Back when people used to take trophies around and just build displays, showing them off. That's Bob's brisket trophy. Funny thing about that night, that was back. I don't even think we had those little disposable cameras that you opened up.
Yeah,
and you had to take all the pictures and then take them to Walgreens. Yeah, this was way before cell phone cameras. There was one where they had the Clydesdale horses there, and somebody had brought some homemade blackberry brandy, and they were over there, and there was pictures of them like they'd done broke into this Clydesdale horses encampment, and they was giving these Clydesdales blackberry brandy and taking pictures of it. It was like Bob and Andy, and I don't know, a couple of them. Like, man, these guys were wild.
But not
I don't know where it was. I was back with you being good. I was not doing that kind of stuff.
When are you going to start a Malcolm Sides Chicks channel? That's pretty funny.
I need to do that. My Sides Chicks, man, we do have some shirts that are coming.
Have you ever used a gravity-fed smoker, and what's your opinion of it?
I have not. That's one that they're okay. I mean, I have learned from listening to friends that cook on them and that they all cook in pans because there's something about the way you get all that meat dripping down there, and it can give you some weird flavors.
Yeah, I've heard that.
To say the least. But I've seen people cook with them. They work good. I mean, there's my buddy Heath cooks on them all the time. He cooks his competition stuff on them.
Yeah,
loves them. But he cooks in pans though. He don't let any of it sit directly on the rack.
How often do you clean your grill grates?
My grill grates?
Yeah.
I put them through the auto clean cycle after every cook. I'd let the heat roll on them and let them get hot. If you turn them upside down, it really does good, but I let them get – the whole trick to those grill grates is get you a little cooking spray and get them warm on the grill.
This is before you cook or after you cook?
I do it both.
Okay.
The first thing I do is when I spark my fire and I'll get my coal bed where I want it, I put my grate on, I put my GrillGrates on, I get them hot. And then I'll hit them with a little cooking spray and let them warm up a little bit. And I'll take my grill brush that usually comes with them when you buy them, or they sell them. And I don't know which one it is. It's like the little V channel one. I'll hit them with that. I might, spray them with a little more oil. Then I'm ready to cook. As soon as I get through cooking, I'll get my wood paddle and I'll scrape everything off and open that grill up to where it gets good and hot. Let them kind of self-clean. That's what I look at it. Mm-hmm. Scrape it off and nothing sticks to them.
So that's why you call it self-clean.
Yeah. Now they will get messy and you have to really clean them every once in a while. But all I do for that is hit them with some grill cleaner. It's like, everybody's seen it. It's like a citrus-based degreaser, all natural degreaser. Spray them down with that, put them in a pan, let them sit for a little while, spray them off, get them hot, re-season them. I kind of treat it almost like it's cast iron in a way, by not really washing and detergent and scrubbing on them. I mean, that's pointless.
GrillGrates does have a little tool that you can buy. I don't think it comes with it, but it's the little curly one that'll allow you to get down into the channels.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like a little V shape. It goes in between the grooves.
Yeah.
They've got another little scraper tool that's good to go in there.
Yeah.
But I found just a wood paddle or ball of aluminum foil does really good.
One more. Which smoker has taught you the most?
Man.
I thought that was a pretty good question.
That is a good question. I would probably say cooking on a Weber kettle, you learn more. Because you have to learn how the airflow, learn how to build your fire. You can use it, 2-zone cooking and learn how to smoke on it. That one cooker, and you can take that and do just about anything.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn how to barbecue and how to smoke, that's a great, great grill. And that's why they sell so many of them. I probably cook more on my old hickories just because we use them in comps and did a ton of comp cooking back in the day. And
we use them for catering.
Use them for catering, use them at home. I've learned no smoker. I had to learn that smoker and how to cook on it, make stuff good. And all cookers are like that. You've got to learn on them. But going back to the basics, just so you think about it, a Weber kettle. If you can jump out there and you can learn to cook ribs on it, you can learn to cook brisket, grill anything you want, cook chicken, all that, wings. I mean, it's just think of all the things you can learn to cook on a Weber kettle, and then you can apply it to any other cooker you want.
Yeah.
So. And it's not expensive. You can get one for $150.
You can get a cooker that'll make your life easier, but you don't necessarily learn
anything. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think you learn something on all of them. Even the most expensive cooker I got to learn how to cook on it.
Yeah.
There's
a learning curve. There's hot spots.
Commercial old hickory ELEDX that hold up, 96 pork butts at a time. You got to learn how to cook on it, That's just how it is.
So I have.
How many more pages we got? We got more for next week?
Oh, yeah.
I think this is a really good segment. I'll bring Mark in sometime and get him to talk about some of these and get some different takes on them.
Yeah.
Because talking about this stuff, it brings up other ideas and hopefully it gets people thinking.
Definitely.
Like, oh, yeah, we've experienced this. Or maybe they'll write in and say, well, think about doing it like this. So that's how I learned too. So.
Hey, you learn doing everything, including podcasts.
That's right. Oh, I'm
learn how to get
this.
better at it. One more question.
All right, one more today.
Mr. J. Durbin.
Jay wrote this one?
I don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is either. Jay Durbin. Doesn't ring a bell.
You're on death row, and the warden is a fan and wants to give you a little extra for your last meal. So he'll allow you one grill, one protein, one side, one dessert, one drink, one album, and one person.
Dang.
To share it with. One grill. Or do you need to talk about the protein first?
Well, I probably want a Weber kettle.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if can I get a big hog cooker in there and I can cook a whole hog? Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm cooking a whole hog. It's going to give me some more time to make me some weapons to break up out of this because I ain't going down without a fight. Ain't strapping me to nothing, injecting me. I'm going to ask for a steak knife and take my chances. Get me a hostage and we'll get me somebody to fight with me. We're going back to back out of that joint. That's how it's going down.
All right.
I'm going to be in there.
Let me rephrase this.
All right. I don't like to think about the end like that. What have I done to get in there?
You're ruining this question.
I'm sorry.
What's your last meal type? What's your last meal protein?
Man, it's tough between.
Okay. Let's not think of it as the last meal. Let's think you're getting.
I'm going just a big old steak.
Okay.
Good old medium rare. I'm going standard. I'm not anything different. Give me a steak,
ribeye,
a baked potato, a good salad, some bread with some butter. Oh man, I'm probably gonna get one of my mama's desserts. I don't know which one it'd be.
Yum yum pie.
Yeah, probably the yum yum cake. That's what I always tell her my favorite.
Or a ding dong cake or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And
drink.
I'm probably gonna get me a bourbon on ice.
Mm-hmm. What brand?
I'm not gonna be picky. I'll take Woodford.
Album.
That's tough. It depends on what mood I'm in.
Yeah, that one is tough.
Yeah.
A whole album.
It'd probably be some my Jamaican mix.
Really?
Yeah, some island music.
Little
Maybe
Bob
some
Marley.
Buffett or Bob Marley or something like that. That's gonna get me.
I was gonna guess
thinking of a better place.
I was gonna guess Allman Brothers.
That'd be a good one too.
Yeah, one person.
I'm gonna pick you.
You got to, right?
Yeah, you go out swinging with me. Oh, Bonnie and Clyde, that joker.
I'm sitting right here looking at you. You better say that. It's our anniversary.
That's right. Yeah, who do you think I'm picking? Like John Wick or something like that fictional character?
I'd let you pick John Wick.
Yeah.
For me.
I'm not picking anybody else. I know you got my back.
That's true.
What else we got today, Shell? We're gonna hold some more questions. That was a good one, Jay. Whoever you are.
That was a good one. Whoever you are. I did hear about this guy named Jay Durbin, living in Tennessee.
He's got a YouTube channel.
Yeah, he does some good barbecue out there.
Yeah,
he might be the second year in a row reigning rib champ in the world. I wonder if that's the same guy.
It might be. I think his initials are JD.
You know, he won Memphis in May in 2019. But then they canceled Memphis in May for 2020, so he's got 2 years going.
That's right. He's 2 years in a row. Oh, I hope we get to have that contest next year.
So, that's it?
Yeah, that's
what we got coming up?
We're going to get this retail store open, so y'all bear with us, and we'll be back doing a podcast, I hope, next week.
Yeah.
Unless they're lined up down. We've just got numbers to get in. We've all got our COVID mask on and all this good stuff.
So we're opening Thursday.
We're soft opening Thursday. There's no going to be grand opening till next barbecue spring.
Yeah,
We'll work through some kinks and hopefully have some cool stuff here. And I might try to film a video next week. We'll see. No. It'll be the next week I'll film a video. I might shoot it next week if we get some time. Great. So we'll see.
We're not releasing a video until the 12th.
Okay.
That'll be our
turkey.
Our first turkey video. We're going to do a bunch of holiday recipes.
Oh, I got a new turkey brine. I just got it in today.
Yeah.
I got my recipe over to Townsend. They got it all fixed up for me and samples back. And you did the labels and the bottle looks beautiful. Now I'm ready to soak some birds.
Yeah. So we're ready to go with that.
Yeah.
That showed up just in time.
That's right. So I'm excited. That's probably going to be, I think I'm just going to do old traditional smoked turkey. No frills.
Mm-hmm. On the Weber?
Maybe.
That's what's on the list.
Is it on the list?
Yeah.
If it's on the list, it's on the list. But that's it. And I got a hog cook coming up.
Yeah.
Not
13th.
This week, but next week. I'm excited about that.
That'll be the 13th, 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I have a package come in yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, good. I didn't see it.
I already know what you're asking about.
All
yep.
right.
It showed up.
Good.
It actually showed up the day before.
Really?
It was just so much going on we didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're opening the retail store, soft opening, Thursday the 5th.
That's correct.
And I'm informing other people.
Are you telling me? All right. That's good. So y'all come see us in Hernando Thursdays through Sunday, I think, something like that.
Yeah, Thursday through Sunday. That's how we're going to start. We're going to figure it out.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday by appointment.
We've never done this before. We are learning. That's why we're not doing a big grand opening until we get all our kinks worked out and everything, figured out.
Hire some more people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Shell, where can they find us?
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram.
And I'm also at 496 Whitfield Drive, Hernando, Mississippi. Thank y'all for listening and bearing with our craziness today. And we will see. Hey, have a happy Halloween. Go vote. I don't care who you're voting for. Go vote Tuesday.
And if you have any other questions that we didn't cover, I'd like to.
And we're going to get to some more of those too.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a whole stack. A lot of them are really great questions too. Cool. So send them our way.
We'll see y'all next time.
I'll ask Malcolm.
Have a good one.